Hello people, welcome back to yet another video. It's been a while. Let's talk about, oh boy, my favorite topics: English media, English pundits, and all the nonsense that is coming out of them. And a couple of words of obviously the funny West Ham games as well. It will be short, not much to say there. So let's kick in. First and foremost, let's get this out of the way. Let's talk about the West Ham game. Amazing game, especially if you're an Arsenal fan. Been a while since we've seen Arsenal playing like this, dominating, taking their chances, which was more important. Just a couple of things I wanted to add. Obviously, waited a bit with this video, waited for the big boys in YouTube world to come out with their videos to see what and hear what they have to say about it. Both Arsenal fans, West Ham fans, West Ham YouTubers, Arsenal YouTubers, fans with channels of other clubs as well. So more often than not, obviously, you could agree that both are right. Like Arsenal was great and West Ham wasn't. The one thing I don't agree is this basically this narrative that up until 25th, 30th minute of the game, basically before the first goal, that it was an even game. Like honestly, if you watch the game closely, up until the first goal, you can see that there were like at least 3 clear chances that Arsenal could score, right? So no, it wasn't a close game at all. I think that West Ham, they had one chance, one good chance, and a couple of good attacks, but they couldn't do anything with them. We could score 3 goals up until the first goal, right? So no, it wasn't a close game at all. West Ham didn't turn up at all for this game. I think their players owe their fans a big apology, because we've all been there. It's not nice when your team plays like that, especially at home arena. So yeah, I think that we can all agree that West Ham players, they owe their fans a huge apology. Probably they have to get a couple of wins now to kind of try to heal this wound. Maybe try to save David Moyes' job, but that's none of my business. Let's leave this to West Ham fans to decide. So yeah, not going to bother with this game anymore. So let's kick in with the more interesting topics. So obviously the first one, and probably the hottest topic right now, is the Kylian Mbappe news. So first let me share my thoughts on those. So first and foremost, I don't think that this will happen, right? So if you watched any of my videos before, you know that I'm someone who is involved professionally with American sports. My job is actually to, let's say this way, I work with stats from American sports, right? So I watch a lot of American sports. So obviously I watch a lot of Kroenke's favorite teams, the LA Rams, Denver Nuggets, Colorado Avalanche, and yeah, so they do kind of want to have this salary structure in place, like they have in American sports. So that's why I don't think it will happen, right? I don't think they will do it. Not because they can't. That's very important. Because they don't want to. And I will explain in a second why. And the other thing why I think this is not happening, I think that this interest in moving to Arsenal and all this, following Henry in his footsteps, or joining Liverpool because of their history and stuff. We know that Mbappe link with Liverpool, I think it's been there for like 2 years. He wanted to play for Klopp, etc. Now Klopp is leaving. He's still interested in Liverpool. So yeah, I don't think like this will happen. Yeah, if both of the clubs match Real Madrid offer, and Real Madrid don't want to offer what he actually wants, maybe he could potentially move. But I think that this is just his agents throwing this story out there, so to kind of make Real Madrid realize they're not the only ones that want him and are interested in signing him, because that was the case up until probably this news came out, and Real Madrid tried to kind of play dumb here, offering him less than what they offered him 2 years ago, which is idiotic by their side. So yeah, I think what most likely will happen is just Real Madrid will just kind of offer him almost what he wants. They will give him the money. They're not paying any transfer fee, so they're getting him for free, so it's not a problem for them. So let's get back to Kroenkes and why I don't think they will sign him. As I said, Kroenkes, we all know that they own a lot of American clubs, and they have those the salary cap rules in the States. So the thing with Kroenkes, we all know they don't really want to spend money with Arsenal. Yes, they do allow Arsenal to spend the money the club is making, to use the sponsorships, dealers, etc., etc. But they're not really keen into investing their own funds into it. Now, that being said, a lot of stories out there, and I watched. I'm not gonna mention any names. My channel's way too small to do any stores, to do anything like that. But there was one journalist quite famous out there, a French journalist. You can go and search his thoughts on that, and basically what he said is Arsenal and basically Liverpool as well. But I will just talk about Arsenal. I don't want to get Liverpool involved in this. Let's leave this to Liverpool fans. But with Arsenal, basically that because of the salary, Arsenal cannot afford him, which is horseshit. They can afford him, right? As far as I know, there is no rule about the salaries in the Premier League or any other football league, at least in Europe. I've never heard of this. Like, if there is some, please let me know, but I've never heard of this, right? And we all know that those footballers, apart from the salaries, they're getting a lot of money from bonuses and stuff like that. You win the championship, you score goals, etc., etc. So if you have bonuses, there's no chance you can have a salary cap, because how do you control the bonuses then, right? So that's a bullshit. And personally, what I read is, to be fair, that it's like a pop level journalism, like two old guys having a beer, sitting there and talking about the world's politics, the same level. Like, come on, guys. You're a professional journalist. You're a professional sports journalist, right? You have access. You have connections. Can't you just use Google? For fuck's sake, just Google Nikola Jokic contract. Just go and check how much Kroenkes are paying this guy. Because yes, on one hand, they do have this salary cap politics. On the other hand, every team in the States, and this is how they're, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, this is how their sports works. You have a couple of big names, right? These superstars that are getting a lot of money. Like, they're getting a lot of money. And then you build around them. And nobody has any issues with that. So, the second part of this story, and that was another journalist, right? So, basically, this is what is being said. You probably know who said that, right? So we already talked about the salary structure and all this shit, but basically the disruption of the dressing room, and people entering in case Arsenal goes for this deal. I guess the same applies for Liverpool. In case Arsenal goes for this deal, that there will be knocks on Arteta's door from other players that will be asking questions why this guy is getting more money than I am, or like 3 times or 4 times. Now, first of all, if you're Arteta, if you're any coach in the world, and you get this guy to your club, especially a club like Arsenal, like a club that hasn't have a superstar for a lot of years now, the first player that comes through that door with that stupid question, I'm trading him, like straight away. You just tell him, I'm going to either bench you, I'm going to sell you to a championship team if you ask me this stupid question. And that being said, I don't think that any player in this Arsenal group or Liverpool group, will ask these questions. They will be very happy to have a guy like this, because this is your team showing ambitions, right? And you know that you can get paid a lot of money as well if you perform like this guy. This guy scored a fucking hat-trick in the World Cup final against Messi and Argentina. When you do that, yeah, knock on that door and ask for pay raise. Before that, don't even bother. Because let's look at this from a different angle, right? So the very same players that allegedly will knock on the door to ask about the pay raise, right? The very same players were being told that if Real Madrid, for example, comes after them, they will go to Real Madrid. Do you think they will go to Real Madrid, knock on Ancelotti's door, and ask for a pay raise and to be paid as much as, for example, like Vinicius or someone like Jude Bellingham or someone like, especially like Modric, right? No, you're not getting that. They will tell you have the opportunity to play for one of the biggest clubs in the world. You have the opportunity to play in the biggest scene in the world, like you have the La Liga, uh, you have the Champions League, and you have the opportunity to play with some of the best players in the world. That's your reward. If you want to get more money, earn more money. So for me, this is just a pop level of journalism. Seriously, like we all seen, we all seen interviews with Arsenal players from the 90s and early 2000s, and the way they spoke about the club signing Dennis Bergkamp, right? Probably the first big star of that team, shortly before, I think, shortly before Wenger arrived. And how those players looked at this, right? Nobody was complaining that this guy is getting paid more than them, because for sure he was paid more than Todd Adams, Lee Dixon, all of those guys, right? We all know that. Nobody complained about this. They were happy, and they were happy because a world-class player came over, someone who will help them. So again, I really don't understand how can you consider yourself being a sports journalist and then put something like that. That's just borderline idiotic, my personal opinion. So again, this is not me saying Arsenal will go for it. I don't think so. I don't think it will happen. I don't think Liverpool will go for it, because Liverpool owners are very similar to what Arsenal owners are. Especially, I think that last year that they purchased Pittsburgh Penguins, which is a National Hockey League team, right? A very big team, of huge franchise, with a huge history in ice hockey. So, and they kind of need to rebuild right now. So they probably will be more focused there than with rebuilding Liverpool. But again, I don't want to focus much of Liverpool. But from Arsenal point of view, it's not a matter if they can afford him or not. If it's a matter of do they want him or not, and if they want him, they will sign him, right? I mean, of course, if he really wants to join Arsenal, because if it's Arsenal or Real Madrid, we all know that Real Madrid gets the player. But if the guy really wants to come to Arsenal, really wants to follow Thierry Henry's steps, then yeah, we definitely can afford him, and most definitely Kroenkes, if they want him, they can get him. So yeah, so this is those are my thoughts here. Again, this is not me trying to play smart or showing that I know that much of sport. No, just is we live in 21st century. Internet is free. Just go and Google. You can Google everything I said, check the stats, and you'll see yourself. And the last thing I wanted to talk another brilliant topic from, again, English pundits this time. It's another topic with is Saka a world-class player or not? Now, of course, it's a very subjective team, very subjective topics, because first of all, what do we consider world-class? Apparently, different people see it differently. So for me, he is a world-class player. For me, most of the players that play for us now, every single player that plays in City, Liverpool, Chelsea, even Chelsea, although they're not in good shape right now, Manchester United. This is the biggest league in the world, or at least one of the biggest leagues in the world, one of the richest leagues in the world, the most dominant league in Europe for sure, right? And those are the leading teams, but somehow we don't consider those guys world class. Okay, I guess a matter of opinions. The one thing that actually pissed me off a lot, though, with a statement here, it was something like they were comparing Saka to Foden, and they said that Foden did it on international level, but Saka didn't, meaning with Champions League. Well, first of all, if you go and check, Saka is leading scorer for us now in the Champions League. He was absolutely unbelievable in the group stage, right? So, yeah, we know that this is I believe this is his first year in the Champions League. So, years before that, Europa League. Again, I think that you could say that Saka was pretty goddamn good at Europa League. I know the level is much lower than the Champions League, but again, you can only play what's in front of you. The second point, this boy was carrying Arsenal on his back for a couple of years, and that's not an easy thing to do, right? We all know that Arsenal is a big club. There's a big pressure on him. It's not like playing for, with all due respect, a championship team, right? If you're young and you're not delivering, nobody will say a word. This is Arsenal, and the boy did it pretty goddamn well. So, again, something to think about. And the third point, which I think people kind of forgot, and most importantly, those people who were saying those stupid things. Saka is a starting player for England, and there is no doubt for him to start or not. He is starting. He's a key player for this English club, English national team. He plays on that right side. It's his, right? There is no ifs and buts. Saka starts every single game. We all know that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but on the last World Cup he was English leading scorer. Again, if I'm not mistaken. And 2 years prior to that, I think he had a very significant role in the Euros as well. So if that's not international scene, I don't know what is. So again, this is not me saying you're stupid, he's a world class. I do consider him as a world class, you may not, that's fine. But if you're gonna bring facts, at least make sure you check your facts. And again, if you consider yourself as a pundit or a journalist, for fuck's sake, just go and check before you open your mouth. Because honestly, I just couldn't believe what I've heard, what I've read. It's like those people are sitting in front of their computers and their mobile phones, and because they have they have the scene, they have the, how do you say it, the audience, right? Because they're ex-players, ex-coaches, etc., etc., and people will listen to them. People will, pay to watch the shit they're talking about. They think they can, they can say whatever the hell they want. Sorry, but Jesus Christ, come on. Just use the internet, please. Just use the internet. Google stats. Wikipedia is for free. Just go there, check the stats, and then make statements like that. Anyway, didn't want to be this kind of rant, but as I said, English pundits, English media is something that really, really grinds me up. Something that pisses me off a lot, especially for someone who is obviously not an English person. I don't live in England. I don't live in UK. I live in Europe. So sometimes when you listen to those people, you kind of realize why nobody likes the English pundits and the English media, especially, as I said before, and I'll say it again. I think that Cafu explained it the best. They're just brainwashing people, which is, anyway. Hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully, please comment on this. Let me know what do you think. Do you think I'm right here? Do you think I'm wrong? And up to the next one.